welcome. You're watching the Newshour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today, the theme of the Congress's election campaign was pretty much outlined by Rahul Gandhi on a trip to the United States for the next 6 days. A trip titled Mohabbat ki Dukaan, a love shop, if you will. The idea is to contrast the Congress's politics of love with the purported atmosphere of hate which is perpetuated by the BJP. While kicking off his lecture series, the former Congress president launched a five-pronged attack on the Modi government and the BJP, calling the Prime Minister a mediocre know-it-all and implying that gestures like installation of and bowing to the Sengol in Parliament is nothing more than an elaborate diversion from issues that truly matter.
I have a group of people in India who are absolutely convinced that they know everything. In fact, I think they think maybe they know even more than God. And of course, our Prime Minister is one such specimen. I think if you sat Modi ji down next to God, Modi ji would start explaining to God how the universe works. Yes, and God would get confused that what have I created? It is felt most strongly by the Muslim community, okay, because it is done most directly to them. But in fact, it is being done to all minorities. I can guarantee you that the same way you are feeling attacked, I can guarantee you my Sikh brothers are feeling the same thing. I can guarantee you my Christian brothers are feeling the same, sisters are feeling the same thing, right? I can guarantee you the Dalit community is feeling the same thing, tribal communities feeling the same thing. You cannot cut hatred with hatred. It's impossible. Parliament House, these are distractions. The real issues in India are unemployment, price rise, spread of anger and hatred, crumbling education system, price of education, price of healthcare. These are the real issues. BJP can't really discuss them, so then they have to do the whole scepter thing, you know, lying down and doing all that.
So is the election being set up as a personality contest between Mr. Modi and Mr. Gandhi all over again? And if yes, whose message and narrative will find favor with the voters? For now, the government, for one, is again accusing Rahul Gandhi of demeaning not just India but also the Prime Minister, and that too on foreign soil.
पूर्व में भी आप देखें, वो भारत को एक राष्ट्र ही नहीं मानते, वो तो राज्यों का संघ कहते हैं और भारत के बढ़ते कदमों पर भी प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा करते हैं। आखिरकार राहुल गांधी जी विदेश में जाकर क्या पाना चाहते हैं? इस प्रायोजित कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत वो क्या प्राप्त करने गए हैं? क्या देश के ऊपर कीचड़ उछालना ही उनका एक काम रह गया है?
श्रीमान राहुल गांधी चाहे देश में हो चाहे विदेश में हो, उसका एक ही काम है कि मोदी जी को गाली देना और देश को बदनाम करना। मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आता है कि राहुल गांधी को मोदी जी से इतना नफरत क्यों है और उसका भाषा और जिस शैली में वो बोलते हैं उसको लोग आजकल कोई सीरियसली लेता नहीं है।
भारत से बाहर जाते हैं तो वो जो है वो कहते तो हैं कि हम मोहब्बत की दुकान लेके जा रहे हैं, लेकिन उसमें नफरत का सामान बेचने लगते हैं और ये नफरत के इंटरनेशनल ट्रेडर बन जाते हैं, इंटरनेशनल व्यापारी बन जाते हैं। क्योंकि जब मैंने देखा है कि मोदी जी की दुनिया में धाक और भारत की धमक बढ़ी है, तब इस घमंडी घराने के घरौंदे में जो है वो घबराहट दिखाई पड़ी है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, Professor Sangit Ragi, political analyst, Subhi Khan, activist, Advocate Aadil Hasan, spokesperson of AIMIM, Dr. Sumansi Raman, political analyst. My first question is to you, Mr. Lokesh Jindal. You know, today when Mr. Gandhi said that this is Mohabbat ki Dukaan, it sort of was punctured right at the outset by these bunch of people who came with flags of Khalistan and raised the following slogans, bringing back memories of what happened in 1984. I want to just play out what happened in the middle of Mr. Gandhi's lecture, where people raise Khalistan slogans. And when they talk about 84, what happens to Mohabbat ki Dukaan? Lokesh Jindal.
Padmaja, when Indian diaspora it carries with itself all the fault lines of Indian society. And these fault lines, it impacts their life abroad. Indian diaspora is where domestic politics interfaces with India's foreign policy. The image that India projects internationally, it impacts the lives of Indian diaspora as well. When the Prime Minister defends ideology of Godse in the domestic politics and projects Gandhi in the international politics, it has a direct impact on the lives of Indian diaspora. What Rahul Gandhi is doing, he is exposing this hypocrisy.
Okay, we just
He's
talked about
coming out
hypocrisy.
clean.
Let's just play that out, what happened, and then just explain how do you answer to people who are talking about 1984 with Mohabbat ki dukaan. Watch this.
नफरत के बाजार में मोहब्बत की दुकान खोली। वेलकम वेलकम। नफरत के बाजार में मोहब्बत की दुकान। भारत जोड़ो।
Okay, Lokesh Jindal, continue.
Padmaja, Rahul Gandhi was calm despite there were radicals who were harping upon a hardened stand, which is almost against united India. Rahul Gandhi remained calm. He's still asking them for a united India. He still asked them to observe tolerance, shun away with all form of radicalism, have a moderate form, have tolerance, come out to deliberation, and rather than resorting to violence, he is still promoting the message of non-violence.
Okay, RP Singh, 40 years have passed since then. These bunch of radicals still want to revive separatist tendencies. Why do you want to encourage them? These Khalistanis are saying they will boycott Mr. Modi's visit as well. What happened in 84, Rahul Gandhi is saying move on. Now we are talking about peace and Bharat Jodo.
Well, why did this happen? I mean, if you want to discuss this, let's discuss this. Last time when Mr. Gandhi was there in Cambridge, he pointed out toward a Sikh student. He said, Modi treats you like a second-class citizen in the country, and this was a Sikh student. So you're provoking Sikhs to do what they did today. When you say that India is not a nation, is the states put together, union of states, and same is reiterated by no less than Amritpal Singh himself, the Khalistani leader. So this categorically shows that what the intent is, and ultimately it comes back to you. But I'm shocked. I thought Lokesh Jindal is much more sensible than his leader. He said almost against the United India. I mean, what do you mean? They're against the United India, not almost. I mean, you can. What scope are you giving them? What space are you giving them? They should be kicked. They should be arrested. I mean, they have no right to disturb. I'm saying they have no right to disturb any meeting, any political meeting of any leader from India. But I mean, that's what Congress is. I mean, they say almost against United India. And then also, I take strong objection to one more thing which Rahul Gandhi did today. He compared himself with Guru Nanak Dev, which is shocking. I mean, which is appalling. And I want to your people to hear this.
Guru Nanak Ji, I read somewhere that Guru Nanak Ji had gone all the way to Mecca, Saudi Arabia. He had gone to Thailand. He had gone to Sri Lanka. So these giants were doing Bharat Jodo much before we were born.
So what are you doing?
Okay, respond Lokesh Jindal. Insult to the Sikh faith. One memories of 84 and now RP Singh is claiming insult to the Sikh faith. By comparing himself to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Okay, let Lokesh Jindal respond. Yes, Mr. Jindal.
Sir, the idea of Bharat is in the message of peace, brotherhood, community living, which Guru Nanak Dev also preached all throughout his journey. So if he is preaching the same message of Bharat, of peace, tolerance, brotherhood, and peaceful living, so where did Rahul Gandhi go wrong? Sir, please stop finding fault in everything that Rahul Gandhi says. I mean, this form of a prejudicial outlook towards Rahul Gandhi will not help you at all. If there is something substantial, you come out with it, deliberate over it, but then simply saying, "आपने almost कैसे कह दिया?" Rahul Gandhi ने अपने
there is an inherent prejudice, Professor Sangit Ragi. Today, Mr. Gandhi made it very clear that it's going to be a battle of personalities. The Prime Minister on one side, who Mr. Gandhi says वो mediocre है, वो तो भगवान के बगल में भी बैठ करके उनको समझाने लगते हैं कि सृष्टि क्या है, and दूसरी तरफ is Mr. Gandhi with his मोहब्बत की दुकान, which seems like a most viable idea.
पद्मजा, एक कहावत है कि गमले के उगे हुए पौधे बरगद के वृक्ष से अपने को तुलना नहीं करते, उनको करने से पहले 10 बार सोचना चाहिए. Narendra Modi is what Narendra Modi today is. He is a product of decades of political struggles. He has come out from the dust, he has come out from the soil of this country. And when I look at Rahul Gandhi, he looks like Amul baby. Intellectually, in terms of vision, and in terms of the idea for this nation. I don't find, and let me, allow me, sir, I kept mum while you were speaking. Let me say that the number of public policies in terms of, the phrases that Narendra Modi has given to India, no Prime Minister has given this kind of vision to this country.
Example.
And I'm emphatically saying so as a political scientist, as a political सबका साथ, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास. I can cite hundred of such policies which happen.
Was the first person to reach out to
Article 370. Allow me, sir. Allow me.
Okay. You've made your opening comments. You are saying there is a maturity. There is a maturity versus what still seems like a political novice. If we start one by one talking about the themes, let me ask you, Advocate Aadil Hasan, today when Rahul Gandhi was talking about hate versus love, why did Mr. Owaisi decide to side with the BJP and attack the Congress? उनकी मोहब्बत की दुकान ओवैसी साहब को अच्छी नहीं लग रही है?
मैम, राहुल गांधी के लिए कहावत है, गुफ्तार के गाजी बन गए, किरदार के गाजी बन न सके. उनकी राजस्थान में सरकार है, छत्तीसगढ़ में सरकार है. जुनैद नसीर को जिंदा जला दिया गया. राहुल गांधी के जो चीफ मिनिस्टर अशोक गहलोत साहब 15 दिन बाद जाते हैं, उनके परिवारों को 5-5 लाख रुपया देते हैं. वहीं उन्हीं के प्रदेश में दूसरे लोगों को 50 लाख दिया जाता है. छत्तीसगढ़ में भूपेश बघेल साहब हैं, रमजान के महीने में वायलेंस हुआ, साहू जी के परिवार के लोग मिलने गए, 10 लाख रुपया दिया, सरकारी नौकरी दिया. और ईदुल और एक रहीम साहब को मार दिया गया. उसके घर में ना माइनॉरिटी का कमीशन का कोई लोग गया, ना कांग्रेस का कोई एमएलए गया, ना मंत्री गया, ना 1 रुपया मिला. तो ये किस टाइप की मोहब्बत की दुकान है? विदेश में जाकर आप जो गुफ्तार के गाजी बन गए हैं और किरदार कैरेक्टर जो है आपका कुछ अलग है, तो कैसे आपका सपोर्ट किया जाए? अरे बीजेपी का तो है ही है, बीजेपी तो लंबा लंबा फेंकती ही है, इसमें कोई दो अंदेशा नहीं है. सबका साथ सब बकवास है. लेकिन राहुल गांधी जो ये कर रहे हैं कि बजरंग दल पे हम बैन लगाएंगे, तो राजस्थान में क्या हो रहा है? हिमाचल प्रदेश में क्यों नहीं अब तक हुआ? छत्तीसगढ़ में क्यों नहीं हुआ? इन्होंने धर्म संसद को स्टेट स्पॉन्सर किया गया, जहां पर महात्मा गांधी जी को गाली दिया गया, मुसलमानों को गाली दिया गया, लेकिन राहुल गांधी के चीफ मिनिस्टर भूपेश बघेल साहब के मुंह से बोली नहीं निकली. उस गरीब ईदुल के घर में इनका चीफ मिनिस्टर, इनका मंत्री नहीं गया. अगर ओवैसी साहब ये बात बोलते हैं तो इनको मिर्ची लगती है. हम पूछना चाहते हैं कि हिजाब के मुद्दे पर राहुल गांधी कभी नहीं बोलते हैं, कभी मुसलमानों के मुद्दे पर कभी नहीं बोलते हैं। और ये देश 84 को नहीं भूल सकता है। इन्होंने जो 84 में नंगा नाच किया था वो देश भूल नहीं सकता है। ब्लैक स्पॉट है भारत के।
Okay, respond. Suman Raman, today when Mr. Gandhi talks about Mohabbat ki dukaan, nobody is buying it. The Sikhs are not buying it. The Muslims are not buying it. And actually, let me read to you from an article from 2013 where Mukul Kesavan wrote, "The Congress, by a kind of historical default, is a pluralist party that is opportunistically communal, while the BJP is ideologically communal party that is opportunistically secular. Two sides of the same coin. Nobody is buying Mohabbat ki dukaan." Suman Raman.
Padmaja, presumably you have carried out some kind of survey across the country in the last 24 hours to come up with the statement, quote unquote, nobody is buying Mohabbat ki dukaan. Okay, so I don't know where you got this data.
Okay,
that
let
nobody
me
is
be
buying
more
it.
specific.
AIMIM
is not buying it. BJP is not buying it. AIMIM is not buying it.
How does AIMIM is, everybody knows, is nothing but a prop for splitting Muslim votes to help the BJP. That is a known fact. So whether they buy it or not is completely irrelevant. My point, Padmaja, is very simple. In fact, I felt extremely sad that some hecklers who were holding up a flag in support of Khalistan, and that was used as a political prop to take a pot shot at Rahul Gandhi by the BJP. That was very, very sad. I mean, they should have been standing up and should have strongly condemned.
Okay, everyone wants to respond to you. First, Aadil Hasan.
Slogans.
First, Aadil Hasan, then Subuhi Khan and Professor Sangit Ragi.
No, one minute.
30 seconds.
You tell me, was it right? Did anyone condemn, did anyone from the BJP condemn those hecklers? They were actually saying Rahul Gandhi got heckled. Rahul Gandhi got heckled at a speech.
RP Singh responding.
RP Singh responding. Mr. Malviya puts out the tweet. Should they not have condemned Khalistani slogans being raised, for God's sake? Very, very sad.
I said so. That any person doing heckling or disrupting the meeting of our leaders, whoever he is, should be taken to task. I said, are you hard of hearing?
Okay, that addressed. Okay, Aadil Hasan responding. Aadil Hasan responding. अगर लोग प्यार मोहब्बत की बात को बिलीव कर रहे हैं, आप बी टीम बन करके आ गए टू अंडरकट राहुल गांधी. आदिल हसन.
मैम, इनसे पूछिए कि जब यूपीए 1 और यूपीए 2 में जब सोनिया गांधी जी के और डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह साहब के बगल में हम बैठते थे तो क्या थे? जब आंध्र प्रदेश में किरण कुमार रेड्डी रुसैया थे और वाईएसआर साहब थे, उनके सरकार को हमने समर्थन दिया था, तब हम क्या थे? इन्होंने रायपुर में प्लेनरी सेशन किया था और उस पोस्टर में फ्रंट पेज के ऐड में मौलाना अबुल कलाम आजाद साहब का फोटो हटा दिया। झारखंड में इनकी सरकार है, मुदस्सिर और शमीम को मार दिया गया, ये गए नहीं। अगर मुसलमानों के मुद्दे पर हम उठाते हैं तो इनको इतनी बेचैनी क्यों हो जाती है? अगर बीजेपी को मैं जानता हूं कि खुली दुश्मन है, लेकिन कांग्रेस तो सिर्फ आस्तीन का सांप है। बाबरी मस्जिद शहीद किसने किया? मेरठ मलियाना किसने किया? भागलपुर किसने किया? भिवंडी किसने किया? श्री कृष्ण कमीशन रिपोर्ट क्यों नहीं अब तक महाराष्ट्र सरकार ने लाया? आप ही बताइए। सच्चर कमीशन, रंगनाथ मिश्रा कमीशन, महमूदुर रहमान रिपोर्ट, कुंडू कमीशन, सब क्या कहती है कि मुसलमानों की स्थिति दलितों से बदतर है। सबसे ज्यादा इस देश में किसने रूल किया है? कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया। अरे भाजपा तो हमारी बजट 40% घटाएगी ही, क्योंकि भाजपा टिकट भी नहीं देती है, ना कोई मिनिस्टर है मुसलमान, ना कोई एमपी है मुसलमान। ये तो दुनिया जानता है कि भाजपा मुसलमान को करीब नहीं लगती है, सिर्फ झूठ बोलती है। पसमानदा मुसलमान इनका झोंका है, मुसलमानों से मोहब्बत धोखा है। लेकिन राहुल गांधी, कांग्रेस पार्टी बतलाए कि मुसलमानों के साथ उसने कब इंसाफ किया? बाबरी मस्जिद आपने शहीद किया, मेरठ मलियाना भागलपुर फिरोजाबाद सब आपने किया, तब आपको हम कैसे माफ कर सकते हैं? बतलाइए।
Okay, and just historical anecdote by the way, that when the Babri Masjid demolition happened, there were three ministers in the PV Narasimha Rao cabinet. There was CK Jafar Sharif, there was Salman Khurshid, and there was Ghulam Nabi Azad. None of them resigned. The only man who did resign was MJ Akbar, who was a member of parliament who eventually joined the BJP. But anyhow, Subuhi Khan, can these historical wrongs still be piled onto Rahul Gandhi when today he is saying कि हाँ जी जो हुआ सो हुआ, today I am going to do the politics of love versus the politics of hate of the BJP. Hate and division, love of the Congress. Subui Khan. And history is the only weapon being held against Rahul Gandhi.
Okay. Padmaja, first of all, I want to say that we cannot brush the dirt or the problem under the carpet in the name of Mohabbat ki dukaan. Let us rise above BJP and Congress and talk about the problem, and let us nip the problem in the bud. First of all, I want to convey to all the audience that the concept of minority and majority is flawed in the perspective of Bharat. It is a Western concept where it was needed because they had a history of persecuting or abusing people who were weak or less in number. Tell me one race, one ethnicity, one religion or one group which has been persecuted in Bharat. It has never happened. We have a glaring example of Jews. Jews have been persecuted throughout the world, and when they finally settled in their country in the Parliament of Israel, they made this official statement that we were persecuted everywhere but Bharat. Let me give you another example. Can we criticize Jesus or forget Jesus, even Pope in Vatican? Can we criticize Allah or Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Mecca? But in Bharat, we can criticize, and not just criticize, but we also question the existence of Lord Ram in Ayodhya, which is the birthplace of Lord Ram. This is the level of freedom of expression and speech, level of secularism that we have in India, level of liberty that we have in India. I am an Indian Muslim and I refuse to be called a minority because minority is a victim card and I refuse to be played. This term is being used by some political parties like Congress to instill fear in the minds of Muslims so that they stick to these parties and just keep voting for them and just remain their vote bank. So this is completely bullshit, I would like to say.
Okay.
Muslims in India are not tolerated but celebrated, Padmaja.
All right, this is basically playing to the worst prejudices, Dr. Sumansi Raman, that the world wants to see in India. Where you basically also have two minorities, by the way, sitting right now on the panel, saying that this narrative is wrong. A Muslim and a Sikh saying that this whole impression of India as anti-minority is wrong. Dr. Sumansi Raman.
No, let us be very clear. Rahul Gandhi is putting forth his point of view basically with relation to specific instances which are also there and are well known to people as to what's been happening over the last few years.
Let's be more specific, sir. Let's be more specific, because if we are talking about specifics,
politics of hate.
You know that in 40 years, a majority of the riots that have happened have taken place on the watch of the Congress. Actually, let's quote a few examples. Between 1967 to 2002, there were 17 riots in India. Of these, 10 took place on the watch of the Congress. Whether it was the Hatia riots, whether it was the Jalgaon riots, Jamshedpur riots, Moradabad riots, Nelli riots, Bhiwandi riots, Ahmedabad riots, Bhagalpur riots, Delhi riots, they all took place on the watch of the Congress, Dr. Sumansi Raman. And by the way, since we talk about Mohabbat ki dukaan, there are other very interesting aspects which are conveniently ignored.
Though he
For
may
example,
not have been born at that stage.
Okay, we're talking about being born not too long ago in the 90s when both you and I were born. Do you know what was the slogan given? Do you know what was the slogan given by the RJD in Bihar? They said, "Bhura baal saaf kar do," which meant that they wanted the ethnic cleansing of Bhumihars, Rajputs, Lalas and Brahmins. So they said, "Bhura baal saaf kar do." This is the Mohabbat ki dukaan. This is the RJD that the Congress allies with and talks about Mohabbat ki dukaan.
How old was
Rahul Gandhi? He was 30 years old at that time.
At the time of the 1984 riots.
I'm talking about the 90s,
1984
sir.
He was 30 years
This
old.
the RJD said in the 90s.
I didn't know this.
When Mr. Gandhi was in his 30s, I would assume.
No.
Professor Sangit Ragi. There are many levels of hate and mohabbat which people conveniently forget.
One second.
When you're talking about Nafrat, you will recall Godhra, but you will forget Nelli. You will talk about Gujarat, you will forget Mumbai riots. You will forget Bihar. Why? You will forget Muzaffarnagar.
Padmaja.
Professor Sangit Ragi.
Padmaja.
Please also
Padmaja.
listen to riots during Nehru's time.
Padmaja.
Don't go to
Congress
Nehru. I'm
party-
talking about Mr. Lalu
Padmaja,
Prasad. आप
Padmaja,
नेहरू पे क्यों जा रहे हैं? I'm talking about Mr. Lalu.
Why not? Go to Nehru.
Because it is convenient for you to say now, oh, you're blaming Nehru. Nobody is blaming Nehru. I'm talking about 2013, sir.
No, you should.
I'm talking about 2013.
Come on,
I'm
we
talking
should
about
start with
1992.
Nehru. It's not.
Anyway,
it's not enough to
this is a very
start with
convenient
Indira
trope.
Gandhi or
Anyway,
Rahul Gandhi.
convenient trope. Professor Sangit Ragi.
No. Sumansi, Padmaja, in last assembly election of West Bengal, the Congress party aligned with one of the most radical elements of West Bengal. Furfura Sharif is known for this. Secondly, we all
ISF,
know
who by the way, the
politician
ISF
earlier
that the
working
Congress
with the-
allied with, do you know कि ISF's chief, what he said? He said Nusrat Jahan, who's a Muslim lady MP, she should be tied to a pole and beaten because she's working in films. That's as much as Mohabbat is concerned. Anyway, finish. Professor Sangit Ragi.
Secondly, the person who said that the Modi should be chopped off, he was made the in charge of Uttar Pradesh Assembly election by the Congress party. Is this the language of love? Is this the language of, compassion? Is this not the language of hate? We all know the speeches of Srimati Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra subsequently thereafter, how the riots broke out in Delhi. So let us not go into past. The important point is that Sumansi Raman started saying that, Padmaja, did you have any survey before coming, because you said that nobody is buying, and probably you didn't carry any kind of a survey. So does Rahul Gandhi have any study, any kind of a research work on that? There is a hate all over the country. Has he gone through any kind of a public opinion survey? Is he in position to quote it? It is always lamponic, and it is used in a political rhetoric which Rahul Gandhi is using. And the primary objective is, number one, how to defame Narendra Modi before Narendra Modi visit to United States of America. Because he has seen how the rising image of Narendra Modi as a world leader is something which is cutting into the kind of the political capital which Gandhi earlier used to monopolize on. So had personal rapport with American president, American political leaders, with Russian leaders. Narendra Modi was earlier questioned that how he will be able to handle foreign policy. And I think that the response of Narendra Modi has been really master stroke.
Okay. Final word, Lokesh Jindal. Is this an effort to try and undercut Mr. Modi's image before he reaches America? I'll come to you, Mr. RPC. Yes.
Padmaja, when we talk about political ideology, it either exploits the fault lines within the Indian society, or it aims at bridging those gaps and trying to reform it and make it more homogeneous. BJP, with its political ideology, aims at exploiting the fault lines in the Indian society, polarizing it, trying to bring about some form of a narration, giving a first citizen treatment to one particular religion, and according a second citizen status to
Answer
other
the
religions,
question,
as
sir.
we have seen.
Was this visit timed in order to undercut the Prime Minister's image before he reaches America?
Absolutely not. Rahul Gandhi has been very, very precise, and he has been coherent in his views whenever he has been abroad. He has not been changing what he is domestically and what he is addressing to the Indian diaspora whenever he goes abroad.
All right.
His
The
views
aim is
have
the
been
message.
consistent.
RP Singh, it's not any one man, not the Prime Minister, anyone. It is the country and the message.
First, I take strong objection to what he said. He said that a particular community is been given a special status. No, I'm very sorry. The first decision of this government of 2019, when it came in 2019, was
Indian
to give.
Parliament along with
Can
the
I,
scepter-
Mr. This is not fair, Padmaja. I never interrupted.
Okay, finish your point. Yes.
You put the feeder down. It gives scholarship for 5 crore minority children. The first decision. And also, let me tell you, Mudra Yojana, more than 30% beneficiaries are Muslims. Ujjwala Yojana, more than 30% beneficiaries are Muslims. Even the houses which have been given, more than 30% are beneficiaries are Muslims. So, and with population of 15%.
Okay.
Are they being targeted? Man, this is so wrong, and using your channel for such venom. This, I strongly object to this. One. Secondly, this is what Rahul Gandhi does when he go abroad. He tells the Sikh child, you are treated as a second-rate citizen in the country. Do you understand? What does it mean? He is promoting Khalistanis, he is promoting separatism within the Sikhs.
All right. There is a message and an audience for that message in the United States as well as in India. Ultimately,
Padmaja.
whether the Prime Minister's image will be affected in any way, we won't have to wait very long to find out when the Prime Minister reaches the United States, and ultimately the electoral outcome will be the ultimate judge. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, all gentlemen. Subhi Khan for joining me.